Welcome to Esthetician Edit.
I'm Anastasia.
And I'm Samantha.
And today we have a very special guest, Gabe Lousada.
Hello.
And today's topic is going to be all about embracing different passions in the aesthetics industry and how to step outside the box. And it's such a good topic for Gabe because literally when I got to know Gabe, I'm like, how are you doing so many different things and being so successful at doing all of these things? And I think a lot of estheticians are really creative individuals at heart. And so we don't need to, I know everyone says to like stick to a niche and stuff, but we don't need to keep ourselves in a box. And I think you do a really good job at doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Gabe is going to be one of our speakers at our show.
I'm so excited about it, by the way.
We're so excited to have you.
Yeah.
We're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Gabe Lousada. I'm originally from Brazil, but I moved to Florida 7 years ago in 2018 with my family. I did last year of high school here, so that's how I learned English, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I just started as soon as I graduated high school. I already had a lot of passion for beauty in general and the beauty industry. So I started being very addicted to makeup in general, just like watching YouTube videos of people just doing their glam while I have lunch or dinner. And then it became a passion for me where I started buying makeup, right? I had a little things that I wanted to correct on my face. So watching those videos helped me a lot about like, maybe I should do a little concealer. Like I didn't know anything about nothing, right? So I'm like, maybe I want to try out a little bit of concealer here in my dark circles and a little powder. And then it kept growing, right? So it started with a little concealer and then blush. And then I'm like, a little mascara and then eyebrow gel. So it was a whole lot of things that I started, buying. And then I had a friend of mine who kind of knew how I had so much makeup. I signed up to all the beauty boxes, the mystery boxes, the ones that come every month. Yeah. And then you get like a few products to try it out. So I had a lot of products, and I had a friend of mine who was getting married, and she couldn't find a makeup artist because where I'm from in Florida, my hometown is Jacksonville, which is all the way up to the north. And at the time, they didn't have many makeup artists. Honestly, most makeup artists had to come from another city, and they would just come for weddings and things like that. Just because it's such a small city, there's not much going on. So my friend was like, please, Gabe, do my makeup for my wedding. And I'm like, I know how to do my makeup, but I'm not a professional makeup artist. I don't know how to do it. I'm afraid I'm going to, mess up on your big day. Yeah. Imagine such a lot of pressure, right? And then I went there and we had such a great time. Like I was so happy about it. And I couldn't believe myself that I was actually getting paid to do something that I love so much. So that's how my passion really started. I'm like, I actually want to do that for a living. And at the time, I was working at an office, a construction company. And so I had to deal with a lot of men at the time. So I'm like, I really don't want to be here in this environment. I want to be with the girls. Aww. So I quit my job. I was already doing makeup, right? So I was already, as soon as I done the makeup for my friend on her wedding, I started taking in clients more and more and started learning on my own. And then once I was already doing it professionally, I'm like, okay, I need to level up, right? So what do I need as far as license, as far as like to actually, be doing it legally, right? And then I took a eyelash course, like the extensions, the 1x1, and I hated it. Oh my God.
Side-eye.
I spent so much money. It was a big investment with everything, but I'm like, no, this is definitely not for me. But I'm very grateful for the experience because my teacher, she was the one who guided me. She was like, hey, Gabe, what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, I want to do all of these things. And she's like, okay, so you need to go to this school and you're going to do this course and you're going to get this license. So you can do everything. You can do makeup, you can be an esthetician, you can do lashes, you can do eyebrow, you can do everything like within that school, right? So I quit my job completely, my construction job. I quit out of nowhere. I had no other job, nothing. I'm like, I just need to go for it. And that was like the biggest learning move that I learned myself, right? Which was, I don't know what's going to happen, but who cares? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are waiting for something to happen for them to make a move versus making a move so
and
things
seeing
happen.
what happens. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I quit my job. I went to esthetician school, and then I started working at a med spa, it was like half med spa, half urgent care. But I was there for the aesthetics part of it. So I got very familiar with the medical grade aesthetics, which is like fillers, Botox, injectables in general. I was very familiar with it because of the doctor that I was working with, and lasers and things like that. And from there, I really wanted to be an esthetician, be in a treatment room, treating the skin. And at the place that I was, they didn't have like aesthetics in that sense. Like they didn't have an esthetician doing facials and skin, giving out like skin treatments like we do. So I started there. So I had my room, I started being an esthetician, started taking in clients, and I didn't know a lot, right? I was just recently graduated from school, and I'm like, oh my God, am I even doing this correctly? And that's when I went to my very first trade show in Orlando, and I met Herbal Skin Solutions.
Aw.
That's
Oh, wow.
right.
That was like instant.
That
Right
was
away.
honestly, they are so close to my heart because they just changed my life completely in a way where it wasn't on purpose, right? They were just there for me. And I went to this trade show and I took Kayling's class, which was for dermaplaning and chemical peel, and it was such a good class. And I stayed till the end of the class so I could, connect with them and communicate. And they were so sweet and so welcoming, and they pretty much took me under their wing, and they're like, Gabe, we're going to show you everything. So Kayleen was an angel, like a true like earth angel, because she's the one who were like, Gabe, you need all those courses. She gave me access to all of her courses that she does. And so I learned dermaplaning, chemical peels, microneedling, all the good stuff that we like to do as an esthetician. And I'm started taking clients myself in Jacksonville, but I wasn't happy. I knew a lot of people there and I was starting to grow a clientele, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled because I wasn't in a place that I wanted to be, right? And I didn't know why. And I was already doing both makeup and aesthetics, being an esthetician. So I'm like, okay, if I'm starting from zero here in Jacksonville, why do I not just move to Miami and start from zero there, And I would be so much happier there because here in Miami, there's so much more that you can do, right? As far as being an esthetician or a makeup artist, and then there's so many other things that you can also jump onto. Am I talking too much?
No, the whole point is for you.
Okay, no, because I'm like, should you guys ask me something?
No, but I was gonna say,
like your story is so special. It's not like how every other person's story is. It's just
there's so
you have
many
a lot
things
to
that
say.
have been coming to my head.
Yeah.
Like first of all, I think you're like the proof that like you are your own business card. Like you just being really good at makeup, that's how people start asking you like, Gabe, can you do my makeup?
Exactly.
And
I'm a client of his.
but it's like that goes to show that like we really do need to be walking examples and to like your face is like your business card,
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that you can do it, right? Because for me, like I've treated my skin. That's actually how I went to esthetician school is because first, before that, when I was still on the makeup thing, I didn't know much about skincare, and I started clogging the hell out of my pores with the makeup, and then I started breaking out. I started having pimples here and there, and I was covering them all the time, and that was a vicious
process
cycle where the more you cover, the more they come up. Right?
That's literally what's happening to me the past few weeks with the makeup.
So I was purging a lot, and then I didn't know what to do. I was doing so many wrong things. Like I was sleeping with makeup. I would not apply moisturizer before my makeup. Like I didn't know about skincare really. So I'm like, oh, what's going on with my skin? Like it was purging so much. Like I had cystic acne all over my face. And there's actually pictures of that on my page if you guys want to see. But I went to a dermatologist, and then I started doing a lot of research on my own. Like I bought a notebook and some like pens, and I'm like studying on Google, like looking everywhere. And then I was also following a couple YouTube channels of estheticians who were explaining so many things about ingredients, what you need, step by step. Before that, I was literally washing my face with like body wash. Like I didn't know nothing, you guys. And then I'm like learning about, oh my God, these people are doing like a 10-step routine. I'm like, how? Yeah. How do you find, like 10 steps? And then now I'm doing the 10 steps. And so I treated my acne, right? So that's what I say. If your skin right now doesn't look how you want it to look, right? If you right now are purging, if you right now have all these things going on, don't dim your light just because you don't have perfect skin yet. Like, and perfect skin doesn't exist, right? We can try to treat the skin and do as much as we can, but perfect skin doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Yeah. So,
like I've had a lot of struggle with my skin, but it's like I think that it's a gift in itself because I have more acne prone skin. So I'm learning about my skin so that I can help my clients. So it is a gift, because then if you don't know, like if you don't experience it sometimes for yourself, then it's like, how are you going to tell someone else? Like, it's, you have more compassion and you just understand them more.
It's a learning process, right? It's easier for me to talk to an acne client because I've been there. I know how it feels. Like my friends, they would tell me, Gabe, your mood is literally based on your pimples and the amount of pimples you have on your face. Because when I was breaking out, I didn't want to be seen. Like I wanted to be home. I just went through that. I literally had, like, I would cancel so many things because of my pimples. Like I would like cancel dates. I would cancel going out with my friends. I would not do anything. I would pretty much just hide myself so much. And then when I had to go to work, it was so much because I'm like, I don't want to be seen by anyone. So I would like wear hats and, things just to try to hide my face as much as I could. And so because I have this experience, I know how to approach an acne client, right?
Exactly.
Because most of them are going through the same thing. And so pretty much that's what I want to put out. So people are not like, oh, I should wait to have beautiful glowing skin to start being a makeup artist, to start being an esthetician, because otherwise people are not going to validate me because, you are your business cards, blah, blah, blah. But no, you start doing it, and then you're going to start learning yourself how to do it. And it's a learning process. And then you're going to be able to share with your clients your progress. And like, look what I've done for me, I can do for you.
Yeah, and I think like too, don't be scared to share your journey. Like on my Instagram, I try and share about my hormonal acne because it comes and it goes, and I have to do a lot of internal work. So I've shared about like the supplements I take and stuff like that. I don't think that there's like a destination when you struggle with acne. Everything is like lifestyle based, like what you're eating, things like that. So as you're learning, you can share as you go, right? So I love that you said that. Yeah. So I kind of just want to go back a little bit because like you're very interesting because of all the different things that you do. So I know like it's not just makeup. You also do like social media. You're an esthetician. Can you kind of explain more about that?
Yes. So as I said in the beginning, I started with makeup and then I merged to skincare and being an esthetician and giving out skincare treatments and facials. And then from there, I also started doing a lot of social media content for different brands and for myself. So I was doing a lot of UGC videos, which is user generated content, which is videos that you make as a client who bought a product, and then the brand will post themselves on their page. So it's pretty much to make it feel more real, right? So real people trying real products and making videos. And then from there, I started having a lot of interest in production in general, and I know to do it so well. Matter of fact, when I was 12, I literally forced my sister to make a YouTube channel. Like she was the face. She was the face of the channel, and I was doing everything behind it. Like I was planning the videos, I was editing, I was producing, directing her. She would just sit there and do what I say. So like I love being a producer and a director. So I bought a professional camera, and then I started doing photography and videography, and I started learning a lot about it because as a makeup artist, I want to show my makeup the best way I can, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it connects very well with both photography and videography. And because I'm a videographer, I also started doing, and I'm also an esthetician, so I know the process of a facial. I started doing a lot of videography for med spas, other estheticians who are in the industry because they trust me because they know what I know, right? So I know how a dermaplane should look like. So I know how to record in the best angles. I know everything that should be on a video, like a facial video. I know everything, like the order that it should be and everything. So I feel like it goes very well with being an esthetician. Videography and being an esthetician works very well for me because then I can now make videos for all these other estheticians and med spas and things like that. So I have a lot of clients that I do videography for. And then aside from there, I'm also an educator. So I teach pretty much everything that I do. I don't teach production yet, but I do teach makeup and aesthetics, like facial massage, lifting, sculpting. Sammy took a class with me, and pretty much that's it. And I'm about to be a speaker.
Gabe is going to be one of our speakers for the International Congress of Aesthetics and Spa. He's going to go ahead and be speaking for we have 4 shows, but this year the Dallas trade show is not going to have any conferences. It is going to have workshops, which those will be sponsored by the vendors. But you can definitely come and see Gabe and his magical self.
Yes, come.
At our Philly show, our Long Beach show, and then our Fort Lauderdale show.
Yeah.
And then what is it that you're going to be speaking about?
So we're going to pretty much be speaking about this topic that we're going about, which is how to be diverse within your industry, right?
And how to go like beyond the treatment room.
And how to go beyond the treatment room, because I feel like that's what we need the most. And I feel like every day there's new estheticians coming out of the oven. Like literally every day they're making more and more and more estheticians. So I feel like there's a lot of room for education. So we're going to be talking about that, how estheticians can grow out of the treatment room, because you can easily burn out doing just one thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like for me, I have went through burnout so many times for just doing one thing. And that's why I started being more multi-faced, because I'm like, I don't want to burn out. So having makeup and then being an esthetician, and then I also have room to be a videographer and a photographer and educate and be a speaker and do all of those things at the same time without taking light of them, you know, like I'm not trying to.
And how do you cope with that? Because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that would be like, wow, I want to be like him and I want to do everything, but I just physically and emotionally can't. How do you cope with that, and what advice would you give?
Yeah, it's a process, because you can't just start like if I were to start now, I wouldn't start with everything, right? Like I wouldn't just like I'm taking makeup classes
No,
and then
yeah.
I'm becoming an
You'll lose your mind.
esthetician and then I'm taking video classes and like it's just too much, right? And so you have to respect yourself too. I feel like the best way to go about it is start with one thing.
Like
And
whatever
then-
excites you the most in the
Yes.
moment.
So for example, oh, I love makeup. Start with the makeup, you know, or oh, I really want to be an esthetician. So be an esthetician first. And then once you feel like, oof, I got this, then you add other things, you know? I didn't become an esthetician until I felt confident with my makeup. And I didn't become a videographer or a producer until I felt really good about being an esthetician and a makeup artist. So things come as an add-on,
Yeah.
right? You keep adding things onto your menu, right? But it comes with time. Like I was a makeup artist for a whole year before I became an esthetician. And then I was an esthetician for 2 years before I started doing any production. And that's how I think you should go about it. Because if you try to learn so many things at the same time, you're
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough.
And I think if you approach it more like, okay, I'm going to enjoy the journey of it, and I'm not going to put so much pressure in like, okay, this has to be it. Because I think what you do so well is like you allow yourself to adapt. If you're unhappy somewhere, then you're like, okay, I really want to do this now. And you allow yourself and you give yourself the space and the freedom to do that. And I don't know if you've struggled with like, if you've stayed in situations for too long, you know, but from my perspective, like looking at you, like it doesn't seem that way. It seems like, you know, reflecting back on your journey that you have been able to, because some people will stay in positions that they're not happy in for years. So like, how do you allow yourself to do that?
Well, first of all, I give myself time, and I'm very good to myself. Like if I don't feel like doing something, I'm not gonna do it. You know, it doesn't matter. The first thing I want to say is I don't do nothing for money. Like nothing. Like that's not my intention. That's not my focus. It has never been. Money is a consequence. I feel like money is an energy exchange, right? So I didn't become a makeup artist thinking, oh, I'm gonna make so much money, or like, oh, I'm gonna do all of these different things because I'm gonna make so much money. I do them because I love doing them, and it just comes naturally.
It's a byproduct.
Right?
Very passionate.
Now, if you already know all of the things, like now I already know all of these things. I already know how to be a makeup artist. I already know how to be an esthetician. I already know how to be a video photo producer. How do I manage this? I will not overbook myself. And I've done the mistake of doing it, thinking that I can handle so much. And at the end of the day, you just cannot, right? You have to give yourself time. And now it's just very easy to me. It comes very easy. Like it's not forced in any way, right? It just comes to me. So if I have a client who wants makeup, yeah, let's do the makeup, you know, but I'm not going to be like, oh, today I'm going to do makeup at 7 a.m. and then become an esthetician from 9 to 5. And then at the end of the night, do video and photo. I've done that.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've done that. And I don't feel like it's the way to go, right?
Yeah.
Unless you really need the money, then.
Well, it feels like you kind of flow with
Yes.
opportunities given to you.
Yes.
And I feel like if you try to structure it too much, I mean, I think that for creative individuals, like that just makes them anxious and it just makes them feel like misaligned when they do that.
Yes. One thing too that I want to mention is how you were just saying that now I have more freedom to take in the opportunities that I want. And that was my goal, right? Is I'm not going to do all of these things because I want to do them all at the same time. I just want to get more opportunity and different opportunities to do what I love. And then every time I'm doing it, I'm happy about it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not overdoing on the makeup, and I'm not overdoing on the esthetician side. And I'm also not overdoing on the production side. I am just taking the opportunity as I go. So for example, this month I feel like doing more production. I'm going to focus on the production projects that I have. I really want to, now focus on being a makeup artist, and I'm going to maybe focus more on promoting makeup instead. So this is what makes it feel good to me, because then I don't feel like I just cannot conform to a 9 to 5 standard. Like I cannot clock in and clock out. Like I cannot have a boss. I feel like once I became my boss, I just cannot have a boss.
Yeah.
And I just cannot go to a place 9 to 5 and then clock in and clock out every day. It doesn't work for me. It makes me feel miserable within myself. So for me, that works very well because I have the opportunity to flow with the things that I do, right? So I get to do all these different things, and then I don't end up burning out.
Or bored.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. One thing too is, let's focus on the esthetician part of it, right? There is so much room to grow being an esthetician. There's so much that you can do by just being an esthetician. And I'm not even like talking about the makeup and the production. Just being an esthetician, you can do so much, right? In and out of the treatment room. So you can, when I started, my focus was advanced treatments, right? So I was just giving out like chemical peels, microneedling, dermaplaning, like more advanced treatments. I wasn't doing any massage. I wasn't doing any like trying to make
Like
of an
add-ons.
experience, right? And then I got bored of just doing advanced treatments. It's good money, but it's boring. And then I started learning massage. That's when I'm like, okay, I need to learn something else. I need to like switch up a few things because I'm not happy anymore. I'm getting bored. So I started learning about lymphatic drainage, lifting and sculpting, facial massage, and that changed everything for me as far as being an esthetician, because now I get to do more services and they're different from each other, right? An advanced treatment doesn't really go well with a whole lymphatic, lifting, sculpting, facial massage. You have to keep them separate. So that gives you more room to do different things if you do want to stay in the treatment room, right? You just want to do more things. And you can also become an educator. You can do courses and give out classes so you can get out of the treatment room a little bit more. But yeah, like, so when I was an esthetician and I was getting bored of it, I'm like, okay, what else can I learn? There's so much you can learn in the industry and get excited about. So if you're bored, maybe change the skincare brand you're carrying so that you have more room to learn more.
Or focus like on changing maybe your branding a little bit. Like have fun.
Something, switch it up.
I think it goes back to like, it's so funny because I just moved into my suite this weekend and my mom's like, thank you. My mom's like, I feel like this is just your playroom. She's like, I feel like you're just doing this to play. And I'm like, honestly, yeah, like I kind of am. And it's just because it's fun. And I feel like if you follow the fun and the excitement and things, like I think for so much of my life, I used to put myself down a lot because I would get bored after like at least a year or 2 years. I would get bored and I want to do something different. And then people would be like, oh my gosh, like you have a new idea.
I've been there. I've been there and I went through exactly what you're talking about, which is, I'm gonna start something, but then I will never go all the way
You'll never end it,
to the end because I'm in the middle. I get bored.
Yes.
So that's how also I started doing different things
And
so
allowing yourself.
so I wouldn't get bored.
I feel like that's something normal, just in life.
But
like,
it's not really accepted by society
It's not.
until recently.
Yeah. But
Yes.
it's just, it's
I
so
feel
healthy
like-
to do that. To just let yourself, like, just go with the flow. Do what makes you happy, no matter what others think, or just do you. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's able to help yourself with, what you're feeling.
And I
So-
feel like in the industry, in any industry, people are always taught from being in school is like you're gonna be one thing, right?
That's true.
So okay, you're gonna be an engineer. That's all you're gonna do. You're gonna be a doctor. That's all you're gonna do. And then if you want to be a doctor, you have to decide: am I gonna be a surgeon? Am I going to be a nurse? You know, you can't do all of it. You have to pick what you want to do. And it also extends to the beauty industry, right? So, oh, you're a makeup artist, then be the best makeup artist.
Yeah.
If you're an esthetician, then be the best esthetician. But then just do that and, you know, niche yourself. Find your niche and grow your niche. I don't agree with it. Like, I could not be more miserable than just sticking to a niche. I think you are setting yourself up for burnouts and getting bored, right? Because you're like, oh, I have to focus on this niche.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Like, you can do other things. You can do so many things at the same time. I have other friends too that do multiple things. And there are people out there that want to stick to one thing. They're like, I just want to do one thing. So if you are someone like that, then, you know, great for you. It's just not my thing.
You know what I think is also, like, I think that a lot of people will make it their identity. Like, whatever they become, they make it solely, like, this is my identity. I'm a makeup artist or I'm an esthetician and stuff. And I think, like, when I look at you, I just see Gabe Lousada that just does all these different things, and he's good at all these different things. So I think if you just, like, really just allow yourself to shine and just know that all of these are just things that you do and talents that you have and skills that you have, but the identity itself, I think, is what's like constricting and what puts you in a box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what you just said, it was beautiful. It's like you're not an esthetician. You are you.
Yeah.
And you do
you being
esthetician
yourself,
service.
or you like expressing yourself through whatever industry you're in.
Yeah.
is
So
what makes-
so like she said, like, I'm Gabe.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not an esthetician. I'm not a makeup
I am Gabe
artist.
Lousada.
I am Gabe, and those are the things that I do. You know, I try to be my business card. You know, every day. Like you said, I've had so many clients that booked me because they saw me somewhere, and they're like, "Ooh, your makeup's beautiful. Are you a makeup artist?" Yes, I am. Here, take my card. You know, and I've had so many bookings that way because, like you said, you are your business card, right? You have to be what you sell, right? So for me, so I'm Gabe, and I'm an esthetician, I'm a makeup artist, I do all those things, but I'm not trying to close myself to other opportunities that I want to do, right? So yeah, I'm open.
Very open.
I'm very
I love
open.
that.
And it's doing really well for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, you do a really good job at portraying that. Like how Sam and I always say, we're like, it's Gabe. Again, it's Gabe Lousada. It's not, you know, he's not Gabe the esthetician. Like, no, you're yourself, and you're so special.
Thank you.
You know, you really are. You're a special soul. So Gabe, I know that you do a bit of everything, but you and I did speak prior, and you were letting us know that you are kind of going more into the production side of things, taking a break from being an esthetician. Is that correct?
I'm not taking a break from being an esthetician because I am an esthetician, right? You cannot take that away from me. But I am definitely trying to grow into more the production. And that's more because it's more from a business perspective. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very diverse, is because I don't want to be stuck in a room and having to do like 10 clients a day, you know, to make it work, right? Because I feel like that's the struggle. Like, yeah, we want to do all of those things, but it's like, oh, I need to be an esthetician. Like, I need to, like, for example, if you have a room, right, like you have to worry about your rent and all of your expenses, and then you have to be in a treatment room because you're like, I need to make this work, right? So I need to be taking in like 6 to 8 clients a day, and that's not what I want to do. I want to focus on less projects, but they're bigger projects, right? So I don't feel like taking clients in anymore. You know, like, I'm kind of tired of being in a treatment room. So that's how I got out of it. You know, I'm like, okay, I can do production. You know, I can do other things that are going to pay me so much more. So then now I can have the freedom to do those little things when I want, right? So when I want to take in a makeup client, I will. when I want to do, give out facials, I can't, And then also, I feel like stepping into education, just it's giving me so much excitement. So that's how I'm still keeping the esthetician in me. I'm teaching all these new estheticians how to do facials, because my knowledge is my knowledge, and that is not going to go away, right? It doesn't mean that I have to be in the treatment room every day to be an esthetician, right? So that's how I'm using it now, is more of my background and how I can teach new and other estheticians who wants to do what I'm doing, so I can teach facial massage, but I can also teach literally from zero. I have a client of mine. She started as my client. She would come in for facials, and I love her. Like, she's like a gift from God, because she is the person who really motivated me to keep doing it. And she would throw, like, not parties, but like she would invite all of her family, and then I would do like a batch of clients at her house, and they would just hang out and have fun. And so I used to do like her, all of her sisters, her like niece, her sister-in-law, like everybody. I was doing all of their facials. And then she approached me and she's like, Gabe, I think I want to become an esthetician. And would you guide me? Like, would you be my mentor? And I'm like, yes, like, I feel so honored, And then we literally, with her, we started from scratch, like from zero, So I do feel like I want to step into more education now instead of being in a treatment room.
Yeah. I noticed something too, like you said that you don't do it for the money. And I think that, like, I see this like as a common thread amongst estheticians who are really successful, and it's that they don't really have that in mind. Like, they don't really have the money, or they don't have a lot of fear behind it. They're just doing it because they love it, but they're also really giving. Like, Kaylin is really giving, Ashley's really giving, you're really giving. I'm really giving. Like, in my school, I gave all the girls free tickets to the show. Every time I get products, I give it to the girls. I have girls already that are going to like work with me in the suite. Like, and it really comes back to you. But I notice that there's some estheticians that are really like in the scarcity mindset, and that hurts them.
I feel like that it's not about estheticians. It's just about humans, right? I feel like a lot of humans, they come from a very scarcity mindset of they're not abundant. They don't feel abundant. They don't feel like money flows to them. They feel like they have to run after the money. And if you have the mindset, like, I really recommend you to changing it, because you should not run after the money. The money should run to you.
Yeah, it'll come to you.
Yeah, so you are a magnet, right? You are attracting it to you. So that's how I feel. That's my mindset. I live from a mindset of abundance. Like, I'm not like focused on checking my bank account every second. I'm not focused on, oh my God, I have to make all this money. I have to do this. I just do it, and then it comes. Like, I have no worries. Like, honestly, I'm not worried about nothing. I'm just like, I'm going with the flow. Whatever what God's want for me, it's what I want for me. So I have just a very good mindset when it comes to abundance and just receiving the flow. Like, it flows to me. I don't have to run after money. It will come to me.
I think that there does need to be like a level of like stability first and safety, because I have experienced like really being like financially insecure and not stable, and like the fear that comes from that and the anxiety. So I think once you get to a place where you are stable, that's where you can kind of like,
I kind of disagree.
Okay.
I kind of disagree
like,
because stability is an illusion. It doesn't exist. If you think about stability as like, oh, I have an X amount of money in my bank account, that's an illusion, because anything could happen. What if tomorrow you or somebody in your family find yourself in a situation where you lose all your money? Like, okay, you have $50K on your bank account, and then something happens and you have to use all the $50K. So stability, I think it's more of an illusion. Like, yes, you have to be responsible, right? I'm not saying like, oh, like, just do things in a very dumb way of like, like
Spend all your money.
spend all your money, like, no, you have to be responsible. Of course, at the end of the day, you have bills to pay, you have things to do. But I feel like the way of getting out of that scarcity is thinking that you already have it all. Because when I moved to Miami, let's go back to that. When I moved to Miami, it was a very hard move for me because I was in Jacksonville, which is a small town. Everything's so much cheaper there. And I didn't had like all this money saved to come here. It was really like this. I'm like, I'm quitting here. I'm leaving everything behind and I'm moving to Miami. And then when I moved to Miami, I spent 4 months without work. I was trying to find work. I was trying to find like a med spa that I would like to work in, but it just didn't work out. And then during that period, I did go through a lot of financial instability, right? Because I didn't have a job and I was paying like a huge amount of money on rent and food and car and insurance and all those things that don't go away. So I did went through very tough times where I was very unstable financially, but I just always had that in me. Like I don't care what my bank account says, like I'm not gonna leave off of that number there, like I feel like I have $1 million in my bank account, so I feel that helped me a lot because if I were to pay so much attention into the statistics, into how much money I had, I would have never moved to Miami. And I'm now so grateful for that, Yeah. So it's a process, right? It is a process, but I don't think that you have to wait until you're financially stable to have that mindset of abundance and money flows to me, right? You have to actually start with that mindset so things change in your physical world. So I feel like you first have to change how you think about money, how you see money, and how you see yourself. Like, do you feel like you're worthy of money? Do you feel like money is bad? Do you feel like money is a bad thing? Do you feel like everybody that has a lot of money are bad? Like, what are your thoughts about money? You have to first fix that so you can fix your mindset about being and feeling abundant. It's not just about talking. It's not about just, oh, I am abundant. No, you have to feel it. You have to feel abundant.
Yeah.
Like, I know at the end of the day, no matter what, I will make it. I am abundant. Things flows to me right now, which, at the time, like 2 years ago, when I was going through a hard time financially, I'm like, this doesn't define me.
Yeah.
This is just a period of time. Now look at me now, like 2 years later, I don't go through those problems anymore. So if I had just, like I did, I just kept myself thinking about how am I going to be 5 years from now? This is not going to be here forever. This financial struggle is not going to be here forever. It's eventually going to change because I'm doing everything I can to change it.
Yeah.
The thing that you have to do is just keep moving.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Keep moving.
Just keep moving.
Keep going. Things are going to figure
Keep
it out by
showing up.
itself.
Yeah.
And if things are not meant to be, they're not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it. Like when I moved to Miami, it was very hard. I'm not going to lie. I went through depression mentally because I was struggling a lot financially. And then once I was able to find that stability, I was like just so much more happier. But that just confirmed the thoughts that I had before.
Yeah.
Because when I was going through that struggle, I kept myself positive. I kept myself thinking. I remember a time where I went 2 following weeks back to back with my checking account negative. And it wasn't like just like a little negative. It was like
Under.
it was like
Yeah.
$600 negative. And then I would just look at it and be like, I don't accept this.
Yeah.
This is not my identity. You know, like I am somebody who's so abundant and I'm so blessed. Like I don't believe that this is this is what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Right. So I just kept thinking, like, how am I going to be 2 years from now? How am I going to be 5 years from now? And keeping myself positive helped me fight all those battles.
Yeah.
And then now I'm here, you know, now I'm stable. Now I don't go through, I don't remember the last time that my bank account went negative. Like it's like, I don't go through those struggles anymore. But I was only able to go through it.
Yeah.
Because
Having
I
gone
had,
through it is what made you who you are and how you are today.
yeah.
Going through that
Yeah, it sounds like
process.
you,
Yeah.
like, because I experienced the same thing where it was like literally super feeling unsafe, like horrible, like negative in the accounts, just like you and stuff. And I understand what you're saying. Like you practiced the safety, you practiced the stability, like before it came. And then, but it's interesting because I did that too. But then now it's like, I actually really do feel it. Like before it's like kind of was up and down. You really do have to be patient and have that level of trust. I guess what I was trying to say is once you get to the safety for, you know, like for real, like your outside world reflects that, then I feel like that's the time
Confirmation.
where you play.
I feel like this is a confirmation. My safety is God. Like I'm very religious. Like I have a really good relationship with God, and you know I go to church and everything. And when I was going through those tough times, I just hold on to God. Like I just really like went for it. I'm like really like growing my relationship with God, where I'm like, God, I know I trust you. At the end of the day, you have always helped me. I don't remember a time in my life that I look back and think and I'm like, oh, I failed.
Yeah.
Like, no, like everything always works out for me. And that's the mindset that I had. And I have a lot of blind faith. I think that's what it is. I have a lot of blind faith. So it doesn't matter if the real world is saying no to something. I have blind faith. I don't care how it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen eventually, right? It might take months, it might take years, but eventually I'll get there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I got here.
Yeah.
So you're extremely positive.
He's faithful.
Yeah,
Faithful,
I'm
yeah.
faithful. Like I don't believe in like positive toxicity,
Yeah.
you know, when you're too positive and that becomes toxic. I'm not like that. Like I have bad days too. I'm not always positive. There are days that I'm like the opposite of positive, you know? We all have bad days and good days and amazing days and horrible days, right? No matter what. It doesn't matter if you're stable financially.
Yeah.
There's two things that you go through that has nothing to do with money, right? So I'm very faithful that everything I want, I will eventually accomplish. That's how I got here, you know, like one day I dreamed of being in Miami. One day I had to go through that. Like I had to see like, oh, Miami, like I looked at it and everything that I needed to do in order to be here. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in Jacksonville and I used to share those thoughts with my friends and like family, and they would be like, how are you going to do this? Like, I'm like, I'm moving to Miami.
Yeah.
How are you going to do this? Do you know anybody there? Do you have a job there? How you're going to make money? All of those questions pop up, and that brings insecurity. But those are like their insecurity. I'm like, hey, this is your insecurity. Don't put that on me. I know it's going to happen. Doesn't matter how, but it's just going to happen. And that's how I just went for it. Like, no matter what, I literally covered my eyes. I'm like, I'm going through this, because I feel like a lot of times, most of people, they don't get to the point of their life where they're successful because they always let fear interfere.
Yeah, they need to know the how.
Yes. Yeah. So fear is always going to be here. Fear are always going to come. Like I speak to a lot of successful people that have it all. Like I'm talking about like millionaires. The fear still there. They are still afraid of things. They're still afraid of doing projects. They're still afraid of doing things because, like I said, stability is an illusion. Anything could happen. You could lose everything you have in a day, and you could gain millions in a day. Like this is how it is, you know? So the fear is always going to be here. You just have to learn how to put the fear in the passenger seat and be like, hey, you're going to come with me no matter what. But you're the driver. Don't let the fear drive you. Don't let the fear be the driver of your life. You are the driver. The fear is
I'm so sorry to cut you off. You're so motivational. I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to start crying.
Yeah, but that's how I am and how I see life.
That's why I'm, again, going back to like how special you are. It's crazy. Oh my God, stop.
I think also, like, for a long time, I thought, because a lot of people do this now with all this self-help and stuff that's out there. They'll be like, okay, I have this fear. I have this imposter syndrome. I need to work on it. But they like hyper focus on it. And like they give the fear, like they put the fear on a pedestal. They just focus on the problem too much, where it's like you said, like just accept the fear and take it with you. But
take
just
it with you.
Go,
learn how to take it with you, because you have to be friends with your fears, right? Because first of all, where do they come from, right? Do they come from past experiences? Do they come from your parents? You know, like your parents have so many limiting beliefs and they put that all on you. Like, oh my God, like, no, you can't, like, you have to go to college. You have to be this, you have to be that. Otherwise, you're going to fail. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do these things. And I feel like a lot of times we take in all of that identity that is not meant for us. And then we get into that vicious cycle where fear will always win. Like, for example, I want to do a podcast. Oh, but I'm so afraid of this. I don't like how I look. I don't like this. I don't like how I talk. I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. No. You just take the fear and go with it. If you really want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? You only know once you're doing it. Once you are in that position. You cannot know how it's going to be until you do it. And a lot of people are afraid of failing. And I know, because I'm also very afraid. Like, I have so many projects that I have in mind that I haven't even like scratched the surface yet, because I also have my fears. But you just have to go for it. You just have to do it. Okay, what I want to do? I want to do a YouTube channel. Just do it. Don't think about the don'ts. Don't think about, oh, somebody's going to look at it and make fun of me, or, oh, I'm going to look stupid. Like, don't be afraid of looking stupid. You know, that's how you're going to learn. You're going to learn from your mistakes. And if anything, if you fail, you're not failing. It's a learning moment, you know, like, oh, I actually don't want to do a YouTube channel. And then you find what you want to do, you know, but this is just an example, like, meaning whatever you put yourself to do, you're always going to have fear. No matter what.
Yeah. I used to do hypnosis on people, and I used to have a lot of people that would come a lot for fear, like imposter syndrome, and they'd be like, I have this idea and I need you to do hypnosis on me to get me to believe that I can do this, right? And I would have people that come and be like, okay, I have like public speaking and I'm scared to speak. But it's kind of like, yeah, we can sit there and we can do all of this stuff, but until you actually do it, like, you kind of have to get comfortable with what's the worst that can happen. Because honestly, it can happen. You can stumble on your words, and you can you can forget your, like, I remember when I was like auditioning because I used to be in theater my whole life. One time I was auditioning for a play, and first time ever, I completely forgot my whole monologue. Like, and I just stood there on stage, and I was just like in front of like 5 judges, and I just blanked out, and I did not remember anything. They gave me like, you know, try again, and I was like, I don't remember. And now to me it was like the worst thing that could possibly happen, but it happened and I survived it. So just ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, I go broke. Okay, I get evicted. Like, okay, I like go as far as you can until your brain is like, okay, this is not probably likely, because before this worst thing that can happen, this is more likely to happen. Because at the end of the day, it's just everything is made up. The worst that can happen and the best that can happen is all made up.
Yeah, because the what ifs, if you always, at anything that you're going to do, whatever you put yourself to do, if you have so many what ifs, change them. Like, what if what if it goes right? What
Exactly.
if it's positive? Like, what if it's what I needed?
Yeah.
You know, what if I take that step and that step will take me to where I want to be? And if I didn't take that step, I wouldn't be here. Exactly how it went for me when I wanted to move to Miami. It was such a hard time because everything in my scenario said no, impossible. But I had such a strong feeling in me, inside of me. It was so strong. That's why I say trust your gut, trust your feelings, go with what you think. Because I listen to my gut and I'm like, I know this is meant to be. And also I pray a lot. Like for everything I do, I pray. Like I ask God, you know, like God, show me what I'm not seeing. Like don't let me blindfold myself. Like don't let me hide the things that I need to see, because a lot of the times we do that. We're like, oh, I want, like for example, oh, I want a fast car, a sports car. But then when you look down at it, it's like you can have a sport car because you don't have the money to afford the payments and the insurance, right? All of those things. So for example, you really want a sports car and then you're putting a blindfold because you know you can't afford it. You cannot afford it. So why would you put yourself in that position, right? So I feel like a lot of times we kind of like close our eyes to things that we want, but we know for a fact you can have that right now. Maybe work up to it, maybe work around it and to the point that you can have that. But that's what I mean is like I need to see if I can do this or if I cannot, you know? For example, when I was moving to Miami, a lot of things around me was saying no, but I had nothing that would actually be like, no, Gabe, you actually cannot do this. No, everything was just like the what ifs, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. And I'm like, the worst thing that can happen is I have to leave Miami and go back to my parents' house.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing that can happen to me. So I'm going to go for it, right? But it wasn't like, oh, Gabe, you cannot do this. Like, this is actually, you actually cannot do this, you know? So
like there wasn't real physical, tangible blocks.
Yeah.
The only blocks that could get in the way was your internal monologue. Or
yeah, because
thoughts.
once I got here, I started doing things and I'm like, okay, now I need to stay here, right? I got here, now I need to stay here. So that's how I started doing all these things, and I started my production company and I started all those things so I could actually make it work for me and, you know, make things like profitable. Because when I got here in the beginning, I was, all my money was going through like to my bills. Like all of the money that I was making was going to my rent, was going to my groceries, was going to like all those things that I needed to pay for, right? But it comes with time. You just have to keep moving. You just have to keep doing things that you want to do, right? So you become the person that you want to be.
Yeah, take a chance on yourself.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Well, thank you. This podcast has honestly really been inspiring.
Yeah, extremely.
We love your journey. We love to see, like, I've always wanted to know more about your journey and where you were and how you got here.
Yeah, because we know you very well, but I just realized after this podcast, I'm like, wait, whoa, I actually didn't really know about your story.
Thank you.
And it makes it only like,
I mean,
better.
I knew that you came from Brazil, like honestly, not that long ago, right? And you learned English so quickly, and you've done so much for yourself. So you should really be really proud of yourself. And I hope that everyone can, like, you know, see that and give you the praise and the flowers that you deserve, because you deserve them.
And come to the shows where you can meet
yes,
him.
guys, come to
you
the
can
show.
Ask him all the loving questions, and
There's
he'll answer them
so
all.
much more to talk about, like when it comes to those topics. So definitely come in, catch a flight, find me in Philly, Long Beach,
and Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
And we will add your Instagram accounts as well, so they can go ahead and follow you, message you if you have any questions.
Take a class with you.
Photo
I
shoot.
actually just reached out to him. I'm interested in taking one of his makeup classes, so let's see how that goes. But again, thank you so much, Gabe. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Bye, guys.